The octopus has highly advanced nervous systems and can solve puzzles, open containers, and even escape from enclosures, demonstrating a level of intelligence that is unusual among invertebrates. Some volcanoes can erupt so violently that the sound could be heard thousands of kilometers away. When Krakatoa erupted in 1883, the explosion was reportedly heard nearly 4,800 kilometers away, making it one of the loudest sounds in recorded history. The most remote place on the entire planet is a spot in the southern Pacific Ocean known as Point Nemo. It is so far away from any land that the closest human beings to this location are usually the astronauts on the International Space Station, which orbits about 250 miles above the Earth. Point Nemo is surrounded by over 1,000 miles of open water in every direction, making it a graveyard for old satellites and spacecraft that are intentionally crashed there to avoid hitting populated areas. There is a psychological condition known as parasyndrome that affects some tourists who visit the city for the first time and find that it does not match their romantic expectations. This can lead to symptoms like extreme anxiety and even physical illness as the person struggles to reconcile the real city with the idealized version they saw in movies. It is most common among visitors who have a very specific and polished image of a city in their minds before they arrive. The Earth is constantly moving at incredible speeds, even though humans cannot feel it. The planet rotates at roughly 1,000 miles per hour at the equator, while also traveling around the sun at about 67,000 miles per hour. At the same time, the entire solar system is moving through the Milky Way galaxy. Every second, about 100 lightning bolts strike somewhere on Earth. Lightning is caused by the buildup of electrical charge in storm clouds. When the charge becomes strong enough, it suddenly discharges through the air, creating a bright flash of light and extremely hot temperatures that could be hotter than the surface of the sun. The largest living organism on Earth is not a whale or a giant tree, but a massive underground fungus in Oregon in the United States. This organism spreads through the soil for several kilometers and is thousands of years old. Even though most of it is hidden underground, it is technically one single living organism. The human brain is incredibly energy hungry and uses about 20% of the total energy produced by the body, even though it represents only about 2% of body weight. This constant demand for energy allows the brain to maintain billions of connections between neurons that support thought, memory, and learning. There are more stars in the universe than grains of sand on all the beaches on Earth. Astronomers estimate that there may be hundreds of billions of galaxies, and each galaxy can contain hundreds of billions of stars. This makes the total number of stars unimaginably large. Sharks existed long before dinosaurs walked on land. The earliest sharks appeared in the oceans more than 400 million years ago, while the first dinosaurs appeared around 230 million years ago. This means sharks had already been living on Earth for a very long time before dinosaurs evolved. Some metals can explode when they come into contact with water. For example, sodium reacts violently with water, producing hydrogen gas and heat. The reaction is so energetic that the hydrogen gas often ignites, causing a small explosion. The human body contains roughly 37 trillion cells. Each cell performs specific functions that keep the body alive, including producing energy, repairing tissue, and transmitting signals through nerves. The smell of rain after a dry period has a special scientific name called petrichor. This scent is produced when oils released by plants combine with compounds made by soil bacteria and are carried into the air by raindrops. Tardigrades, also known as water bears, are microscopic animals that can survive extremely harsh conditions. They can endure freezing temperatures, intense radiation, lack of water, and even the vacuum of space by entering a protective state called cryptobiosis. The coldest temperature ever recorded on Earth was around -89 degrees Celsius at a research station in Antarctica. Such extreme temperatures occur because Antarctica receives little sunlight during winter and has very dry air. There are more possible games of chess than atoms in the observable universe. The number of potential different games is so enormous that it is called the Shannon number and is estimated to be around 10 to the power of 120. The ocean contains about 97% of all water on Earth. Only a very small percentage exists as fresh water in rivers, lakes, glaciers, and underground aquifers. The International Space Station is visible from Earth with the naked eye. It orbits about 400 kilometers above the surface and moves so fast that it circles the planet roughly every 90 minutes. Penguins propose to their mates by offering a pebble. In some species, the male penguin searches for a smooth stone and presents it to the female as part of the courtship process. The fingerprints of a koala are so similar to human fingerprints that they can sometimes confuse forensic investigators if examined without careful analysis. The human eye can distinguish millions of different colors because of specialized cells called cones located in the retina. These cells respond to different wavelengths of light and send signals to the brain, allowing humans to perceive subtle differences in shades, brightness, and color combinations that are essential for recognizing objects and environments. The black hole is a region in space where gravity is so strong that nothing, not even light, can escape once it crosses a boundary called the event horizon. Black holes are formed when massive stars collapse at the end of their life cycles, and they can warp space and time in such extreme ways that time appears to slow down near them from the perspective of a distant observer. The Pacific Ocean is the largest and deepest ocean on Earth, covering more area than all the land combined and containing thousands of underwater mountain ranges, volcanoes, and trenches. Despite its enormous size, scientists have explored only a small fraction of it, meaning that many unknown species and geological features likely remain undiscovered. The peregrine falcon is the fastest animal on Earth, capable of reaching speeds over 300 kilometers per hour during its hunting dive, known as a stoop. This incredible speed is achieved by folding its wings and streamlining its body to reduce air resistance as it descends towards prey. The gravity is not just a force that pulls objects together, but is also a curvature of space and time caused by mass according to modern physics. Massive objects like planets and stars bend the fabric of space around them, and this curvature determines how objects move. The DNA contains the instructions needed for the development and functioning of all living organisms, and if stretched out from a single human cell, it would measure about 2 meters in length, even though it is tightly packed into a microscopic nucleus. The chameleon does not change its color primarily for camouflage as many people believe, but instead uses color changes to communicate with other chameleons and regulate its body temperature by absorbing or reflecting light. The axolotl is one of the most extraordinary creatures in the natural world because it has the ability to regenerate entire body parts, including limbs, spinal cord, heart tissue, and even parts of its brain without forming scars. This regeneration process involves complex biological mechanisms where cells revert to a more primitive state and then grow again into the required structures. Scientists study this animal intensively in hopes of applying similar regenerative techniques to human medicine in the future, potentially allowing people to recover from injuries that are currently considered permanent. The crow is considered one of the most intelligent birds and has demonstrated abilities such as problem solving, tool use, and even planning for the future. Experiments have shown that crows can bend wires to create hooks to retrieve food, remember human faces, and communicate information about threats to other crows. Their intelligence is comparable in some ways to that of primates, showing that advanced cognitive abilities can evolve in very different types of animals through different evolutionary paths. The giant squid lives in the deep ocean and remains one of the most mysterious creatures due to the difficulty of observing it in its natural habitat. It has enormous eyes that can detect faint light in the dark depths of the ocean, and long tentacles equipped with suction cups lined with tiny teeth for capturing prey. For many years, it was known only from remains found in the stomachs of whales, but modern technology has finally allowed scientists to capture images and videos of these elusive animals in the deep sea. The Antarctica contains about 70% of the world's fresh water stored in its vast ice sheets, making it a crucial component of Earth's climate system. Beneath the ice, there are hidden mountain ranges, lakes, and even microbial ecosystems that have been isolated for millions of years. Scientists study Antarctica not only to understand climate change, but also to learn about extreme environments that might resemble conditions on other planets or moons.